The champagne glasses gleam under crystal chandeliers. Designer gowns sweep across marble floors at the Riverside Country Club's annual charity gala, where Silicon Valley's elite gather to write checks and feel virtuous. 24-year-old Kelly Rowling moves through the crowd like a shadow, black uniform, white apron, invisible, the way servers always are to people with money. She balances a tray of hors d'oeuvres with the practiced grace of someone who's worked 3 jobs since aging out of foster care at 18. Against her dark skin, a silver locket catches the light. Antique, delicate, shaped like a music box with intricate engravings. A woman's voice cuts through the elegant murmur. "Excuse me, isn't it inappropriate for staff to wear jewelry, especially something so ostentatious?" Heads turn, whispers ripple. Kelly's hand instinctively moves to the locket, the only possession from a past she can't remember, from a mother whose face she's never seen. Then everything stops. 78-year-old Michael Brown stands frozen, his champagne flute slipping from his fingers. It shatters against the floor, crystal exploding in slow motion. His face drains of all color. His eyes lock on the locket, and his lips form a single, silent word: Sarah. Security rushes forward. His assistant, David Chen, grabs his arm. But Michael can't move, can't breathe, can't look away from that silver music box hanging around a stranger's neck. The locket he commissioned in Florence, 1968. The locket he buried with his daughter in 2000. The locket that shouldn't exist anywhere but in a grave. Have you ever wondered what a single object could unlock? What secrets hide in plain sight, waiting for the right moment to destroy everything you thought you knew? Drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. Las Vegas, New York, Arizona? Let's build something real here. Every subscriber tells YouTube, "This matters. Show more people." Every comment tells us, "Keep going. We're listening." Don't be the 91%. Don't let this be the last story you see from us. Subscribe now. Comment your location. Be part of what happens next. 3 weeks earlier, Kelly's studio apartment, 482 square feet of peeling paint and determination. A window that won't close all the way, but it's hers. Paid for with double shifts and exhaustion. Nursing textbooks cover every surface. Anatomy, pharmacology, patient care ethics. Finals in 3 weeks. Between serving wealthy tech moguls at the country club and studying until 3 a.m., sleep is a luxury Kelly can't afford. On her makeshift desk sits a worn manila folder. Her entire history inside, everything the state gave her when she aged out of the system. She opens it. The same documents she's read 1,000 times. Birth certificate, baby girl, ward of the state. Date, found, March 3rd, 2001. Location, Oakland General Hospital. A single photograph of the locket. Handwritten note attached in faded ink. "This was pinned to your blanket when they found you. Your mama wanted you to have it. I kept it safe. Mrs. Patterson, Judith Patterson, foster mother from age 12 to 16, the only person who ever felt like family. Dead 7 years now from cancer." Kelly traces the music box design with her finger. When she opens it, 4 notes play, broken, incomplete, hauntingly beautiful. On the back, engraved in tiny script, SB plus MB forever, 1968, 56 years old. Custom metalwork, expensive. Someone cared enough to have this made. Someone loved someone enough to engrave a promise. Her roommate, Jasmine Rodriguez, appears in the doorway. Fellow nursing student, best friend, the sister Kelly chose. "You're doing the necklace thing again," Jasmine says gently. "It means something, Jazz." Kelly doesn't look up. This engraving, it's custom work, wealthy. Someone loved the person who owned this. Maybe your birth mom was rich and had a breakdown, or maybe she was running from something. Either way, Kelly closes the folder. I need to focus. Finals won't pass themselves. But the locket stays around her neck. It always does. 24 years. She's never taken it off. Not once. Across the bay, Michael Brown's mansion sprawls across 20,000 square feet. History and grief in every room. He sits in his private study, staring at a portrait above the fireplace. A young black woman with radiant eyes and an infectious smile. Around her neck, a silver locket shaped like a music box. Sarah Bennett Brown, 1950-2000. His daughter, dead 24 years. David Chen enters quietly. Mr. Brown, the gala speech needs final approval. Michael doesn't respond. His eyes stay locked on the portrait, on the locket frozen in oil paint. Sarah would be 74 this year, he whispers. David's expression softens. Everyone who works for Michael knows this pain. The daughter he disowned. The phone call he ignored. The granddaughter who died before taking her first breath. She'd want you to move forward, David offers carefully. Would she? Michael touches the compass rose brooch on his lapel, its twin to the locket in the painting. I couldn't save her. Wouldn't save her. My pride mattered more than my daughter. The story everyone knows. Sarah fell in love with the wrong man in 1999. Marcus Rowling, struggling musician. No money, no prospects. Michael forbade the marriage. Sarah chose Marcus anyway. Michael disowned her, completely, cruelly. February 2000. Sarah, 8 months pregnant, called begging for help. Medical complications. She was scared. Michael hung up. 4 days later, she died during an emergency delivery at Oakland General. The baby didn't survive. Marcus disappeared. Michael buried them both, mother and child, in February 2000. The locket vanished that night, gone from Sarah's personal effects at the hospital, despite private investigators, despite a $100,000 reward. Gone like his daughter, like his grandchild, like every chance at redemption. Michael has spent 24 years wondering, who took that locket? Was it simple theft or something darker? Tomorrow night, he'll stand before Silicon Valley's elite and announce the Sarah Bennett Brown Foundation, $200 million dedicated to children's medical care. He'll smile. He'll inspire. He'll pretend his heart isn't a graveyard, because that's what you do when you're Michael Brown. You survive. You control. You never admit weakness. 2 lives, 2 worlds, 1 lost object. Tomorrow night, fate will force them into the same room, and nothing will ever be the same. The past has a way of finding us, even when we've spent decades running from it, even when we've buried the truth 6 feet deep, even when we're certain some secrets stay hidden forever. Sometimes justice wears a silver locket and serves champagne to billionaires. Sometimes redemption arrives 24 years too late. Sometimes a single necklace can shatter everything. The private dining room smelled of leather and old cigars. Kelly sat rigid in a velvet chair, Michael across from her, David Chen hovering near the door like a sentry. Outside, camera flashes strobed through the windows. Word had spread fast. I need to understand, Michael's voice cracked. Everything, from the beginning. Kelly's fingers found the locket, that unconscious gesture of comfort she'd repeated 10,000 times. There's nothing to understand. I was abandoned. End of story. It's not the end. Michael leaned forward, desperation aging his face another decade. That necklace, I had it made for Sarah's 18th birthday, 1968. There were 2 pieces. She wore the locket. I kept the music box. When she died, they told me her personal effects were lost in the chaos of the emergency. The locket suddenly felt heavier. The DNA test takes 48 hours, David interjected softly. Mr. Brown, perhaps we should... No. Kelly stood abruptly. I'm not waiting in some hotel room while you people decide if I'm real enough to matter. She headed for the door, then paused. You want to know my beginning? Fine. But you're going to hear all of it. Michael rose, unsteady. Please. That single word, stripped of command, naked with need, stopped her. Kelly turned, and for the first time truly looked at him. Not the billionaire, not the monster who'd driven his daughter away, just a man drowning in regret. 5 foster homes, she began, voice flat. The Hendersons kept me until I was 3, best of the bunch, then budget cuts, cycled through 4 more families by 18. I aged out with a garbage bag of clothes and this locket. She touched it again. Only thing that ever stayed with me. Michael's face crumbled. But you? Kelly's anger rekindled. You want absolution? You want me to be your second chance? She moved toward him, each step deliberate. Before we go any further, I need to know exactly who you are, who Sarah was, and why. Her voice broke. Why? Nobody wanted me enough to keep looking. The question hung between them like a blade. I'll tell you everything, Michael whispered. But you have to understand. I thought you were dead. For 24 years, I believed I'd killed you both. Kelly's breath caught. Then start there. Start with how you killed your daughter. The words landed like stones. David moved to intervene, but Michael raised a hand. No, she's right. She deserves the truth. He walked to the window, silhouette against the flashing cameras. It started in 1999, with a man I hated on sight, Marcus Rowling. And so the ghosts began to speak. Before we go any further, I need to know exactly who you are, who Sarah was, and why. Her voice broke. Why nobody wanted me enough to keep looking. The question hung between them like a blade. I'll tell you everything, Michael whispered. But you have to understand. I thought you were dead. For 24 years, I believed I'd killed you both. Kelly's breath caught. Then start there. Start with how you killed your daughter. The words landed like stones. David moved to intervene, but Michael raised a hand. No, she's right. She deserves the truth. He walked to the window, silhouette against the flashing cameras. It started in 1999 with a man I hated on sight, Marcus Rowling. The conference room at Michael's attorney's office felt like a tomb. Mahogany table, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the bay. Kelly sat surrounded by lawyers, investigators, and the smoking ruins of everything she'd believed about her origin. Margaret Shen's forensic accounting report lay open between them. Wire transfers, falsified documents, a $50,000 transaction that reduced her existence to a line item in Martin Cross's criminal empire. Your father, Detective Cooper began. Don't call him that. Kelly's voice cut like glass. Marcus Rowling is a stranger who sold me. Michael sat across from her, aged 20 years and 2 weeks. Since the DNA results, he'd barely slept, barely ate. The 99.96% match had confirmed what his heart already knew, but it had also confirmed something else. His cruelty had consequences with names and faces. This is your fault. Kelly had said it during the first reading of the hospital records. Michael hadn't argued, hadn't defended himself, just absorbed it like he deserved. Now Rachel Kim, the private investigator, slid a manila folder across the table. We found him. Kelly's hand stilled on the locket. Marcus Rowling, living in North Las Vegas under the name Michael Ross. Rachel's expression was carefully neutral. Detective Cooper has secured a warrant. He's agreed to meet with you voluntarily to avoid extradition fight. He's alive. Kelly's laugh was hollow. 24 years, he's been alive. Michael finally spoke, voice raw. "I'll go. You don't have to face him." "Yes, I do." Kelly stood, chair scraping hardwood. "I need to look at the man who traded me for gambling, money. I need him to see what I became despite him." David Chen moved to her side. "Kelly, you don't owe him. I owe myself." She turned to Michael. "And you're coming with me. You want to make this right? Start by facing what your pride created." The accusation landed as she'd intended. Michael nodded slowly. "When do we leave?" "Tomorrow morning," Detective Cooper said. "I've arranged for a private interview. But Kelly," he paused, choosing words carefully, "this man destroyed your life. Whatever you're expecting to feel when you see him, it's going to be worse." Kelly touched the locket, felt the familiar weight. Good. He should see exactly how much worse it was. Rachel gathered her files. "I've compiled everything. His current address, employment records, criminal history. He's been arrested 3 times for possession, twice for petty theft. He's broke alone, and from what I can tell..." She met Kelly's eyes. "He's been running from this for 2 decades. "Then it's time he stopped running," Kelly said. The room fell silent. Michael stood, unsteady. "I'll arrange the jet. We leave at 7. As the meeting dissolved, Kelly remained at the window, staring at the bay. David approached cautiously. "Are you sure about this?" Kelly's reflection in the glass looked like a stranger. "My whole life I wondered what was wrong with me, why nobody kept me, why I wasn't enough." She turned to him. "Now I know it was never about me. It was about money, control, pride." Her gaze found Michael across the room. "And I'm going to make sure Marcus Rowling understands exactly what he threw away." David nodded slowly. "For what it's worth, I think you're the bravest person I've ever met." Kelly almost smiled. "I'm not brave. I'm angry. There's a difference." "Sometimes," David said quietly, "they're the same thing." That night, Kelly didn't sleep. She sat in her apartment, the worn file folder open on her lap. "Baby girl, ward of the state." She traced the words with one finger. Tomorrow she'd finally learn her real name. Tomorrow she'd meet the man who'd tried to erase her. Tomorrow the ghosts would have to answer for their sins. She opened the locket. 4 broken notes played in the darkness. Soon, Kelly thought. Soon the melody would be complete. Or it would shatter entirely. 6 months after Las Vegas, San Francisco Superior Court hummed with anticipation. Every seat filled, cameras positioned outside, the world watching justice unfold. Kelly adjusted the locket as ADA Raymond Vasquez presented his opening statement. The defendants didn't just falsify records, they stole a human life. Martin Cross sat rigid in his suit, lawyer whispering reassurances. Marcus Rowling looked destroyed, gaunt, haunted, years of guilt carved into his face. The evidence came swift and brutal. Financial records showing the $50,000 wire transfer. 3 nurses testifying about the healthy baby they documented, alive, crying, pink. Hospital whistleblowers detailing Cross's illegal adoption ring, spanning 8 years, 14 babies sold. Then Kelly took the stand. "Tell us about your childhood, Ms. Rowling," Vasquez said gently. Kelly's voice was steady, rehearsed through sleepless nights. 5 foster homes by 18. The Hendersons were kind, but budget cuts moved me at 3. After that," she touched the locket, "I learned not to unpack completely. Easier to leave when they inevitably gave me back." The courtroom held its breath. "Did you ever wonder about your parents?" "Every day. Every birthday, every Mother's Day, every time I saw families together." Kelly's eyes found Marcus. He flinched. "I believed something was wrong with me, that I wasn't worth keeping." "And now you know the truth?" Now I know my father sold me for gambling money. Her voice cracked. And my grandfather's pride made it possible. Michael, sitting in the gallery, closed his eyes against the accusation's weight. Cross's defense attorney attacked Marcus's credibility. Addict, criminal, unreliable witness. But then Dr. Richard Torres appeared via video from Mexico, granted immunity for testimony. I delivered that baby myself, Torres said, voice thick with shame. Perfect health, 6 pounds, 3 ounces. Martin Cross paid me $25,000 to document her as stillborn. I gave her directly to him. The courtroom erupted. Why come forward now? The prosecutor asked. Because I've watched this young woman's story for 6 months. I quit medicine because of what I did, but quitting wasn't enough. Torres looked directly at the camera. Kelly Rowling deserved better. Sarah Brown deserved better. I'm sorry I wasn't brave enough to stop it. Marcus took the stand next, shoulders sagging under 24 years of running. I loved Sarah, he whispered, more than anything. But when she died, his voice broke. Cross said the adoption deal could still happen. $50,000. I was high, desperate, drowning in debt. I told myself the baby would have a better life without me. And did she? Vasquez's question cut like steel. Marcus's sob echoed through the chamber. No, God, no. I destroyed everything. The jury deliberated 4 hours. Martin Cross. 25 years, conspiracy, fraud, kidnapping. Marcus Rowling. 15 years, child abandonment, conspiracy. As the verdicts read, Kelly felt Michael's hand find hers across the gallery rail. She didn't pull away. Outside, reporters swarmed. Kelly stood on the courthouse steps, Michael beside her, and spoke clearly into the microphones. No sentence returns what was stolen, but maybe it prevents the next. Child from being sold like merchandise. A reporter shouted, "Have you forgiven them?" Kelly touched the locket, feeling its familiar weight. I'm learning that forgiveness isn't about them. It's about refusing to let their choices define my worth anymore. Michael's voice was hoarse. I'm establishing the Sarah Bennett Brown Foundation. $200 million for foster care reform, family reunification, and preventing medical fraud. It won't fix what I broke, but it might help others. That evening, Kelly found Marcus in the courthouse hallway, handcuffs waiting. I need to know you loved her, she said quietly, that it wasn't all about money. Marcus met her eyes, years of pain laid bare. I loved Sarah more than my own life. That's why losing her destroyed me. I'm sorry I wasn't strong enough to love you the same way. He pulled out a worn photograph. Young Sarah, radiant, pregnant. She talked about you constantly, planned your nursery, chose the name Kelly after your great-grandmother. Kelly took the photo with shaking hands. She would have been an amazing mother, Marcus whispered. And you became amazing despite us all. Kelly nodded once, then walked away. Not forgiveness, but understanding. Michael waited at the car, holding the door open. Ready to go home? Home. The word felt foreign, fragile, but possible. Yeah, Kelly said. Let's go home. 3 months later, Kelly stood in cap and gown, diploma trembling in her hands. The auditorium erupted as her name echoed. Kelly Marie Rowling, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Michael leapt to his feet, tears streaming, clapping until his palms burned. Beside him, Jasmine Rodriguez whistled loud enough to shake the rafters. Kelly found them in the crowd, her chosen family, pieced together from wreckage, and smiled. The Sarah Bennett Brown Foundation launched that week. Glass doors, Kelly's name on the board of directors, her story printed in the mission statement. She walked the halls with Michael, both of them quiet, feeling Sarah's presence in every corner. She would have loved this, Michael said softly. Then let's make her proud. Kelly accepted the NICU position at Oakland General, the same hospital where she'd been stolen, now the place she'd save lives. Her first day, she held a premature infant whose mother had died in delivery and whispered, "I've got you. You're not alone." Sunday dinners became sacred. Michael learned to cook, badly, but Kelly ate every burnt offering with exaggerated appreciation. They talked about Sarah, about nursing school, about foundation projects. Slowly, carefully, they built something neither recognized but both needed. Every Sunday after dinner, they visited Colma Cemetery. Sarah Bennett Brown, 1952,000. Beloved daughter. Kelly placed roses. Michael whispered apologies. And together they shared the week's stories with a woman who'd loved them both. "Mom," Kelly said one evening, kneeling at the headstone, "I met Marcus. He's in prison now, but he loved you. He kept your picture for 24 years. She touched the locket. "I'm trying to understand that people can love deeply and still fail catastrophically." Michael knelt beside her. "I failed her, Kelly. My pride, my control. I destroyed everything she was." "You did," Kelly said simply. "But you're trying to be better. That has to count for something." They sat in silence as sunset painted the bay orange and gold. Finally, Kelly stood. "I brought something." From her bag, she pulled out Michael's music box, the matching piece she'd asked to borrow. She opened her locket. He opened the box. Together, the mechanisms played. "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine." The complete melody, finally whole, after 24 years. Michael's sob caught in his throat. She used to sing this, when she was little, every night before bed. "Then she's still singing," Kelly whispered. "Through this, through us, through everything we're building in her name." Michael took Kelly's hand. Rough from hospital work, strong from survival. "Thank you for giving me a second chance." "We're giving each other second chances," Kelly squeezed back. "That's what family does." Family. The word no longer felt like a weapon or a fantasy. Just a truth, hard-won and precious. They stood together as darkness fell, the music box melody fading into evening air. Two broken people who'd found each other through tragedy, proven that love, even delayed by decades, even born from pain, always finds its way home. Kelly touched the locket one final time. "We're okay now, Mom. We found each other." And for the first time in 24 years, the incomplete melody was finally beautifully whole.